Hey guys, welcome to Vesna TV DIY. I'm Vesna. For today's episode, I have combined my best favorite, according to you guys, furniture makeover. Some of these are thrifted, some of these are trash items that I repurposed, but let's check it out. So for this flip, I'm using 3 Billy bookcases. 2 of them I had thrifted. The smaller one I had purchased brand new only because I was purchasing a glass door as well, and I was worried if I bought an older series it might not work for whatever reason. It probably would have, but I was worried. But anyway, you can pick these up for really inexpensive, like they were $15 for the big ones. So really inexpensively, you can pick them up on Facebook Marketplace, Kijiji, Craigslist, whatever you use for picking up your thrifted items. And what you want to do is you might want to rough them up a little bit. So I just took a little bit of just some sandpaper and I roughed them up just a touch. And then I used some shellac primer and I used the bin primer. And all I'm doing is just painting out the bookcase, actually all of them. And that's for the paint to stick. There might be other ways you can do this, but I found that this has actually made the paint stick quite well. And I don't know if you've tried painting IKEA furniture before, but it's kind of slippery, so sometimes it's really hard to get paint on it, even if you're using chalk paint. Now, I did get them to tint this. I wanted them to tint it just like a creamy color because you'll see the shelves I don't do in the same color as I did the actual like frame of the shelf. So, but they told me it wasn't possible. So I had them tint it as dark blue as they could because I was going to be using my like frame around is going to be a dark blue. So I thought, well, if the primer is blue, then it won't show so much. It'll be a little bit easier to cover it. I'm sure you can get it tinted any color you'd like, but for some reason they said it wasn't possible. And I called twice and they just didn't understand what I wanted. But I thought you could tint primer in any color, but apparently these people at Home Depot said no. So I'm not sure. Maybe I'm wrong. If you know, let me know in the comments below. Anyway, I did this with all the shelves. I'm just showing you the one shelf. You don't need to see me painting every single one of them, as that would make it for a long boring video. When you do use this primer, make sure you're using an old brush that you don't need, or you clean it right away with paint thinner. Otherwise, it's going to ruin your brush. And then I'm using just the cheapest Home Depot paint that you can find. And I'm doing it in the Arctic Sky blue. And I needed to do, I think about I did 2 coats and then I touched it up again. And this took a while. It's not the highest quality paint and it was in a matte, but it was cheap and I wanted to see how it would work. So with a few coats, I got it there. And I'm using a combination of a roller and a brush. And I did forget to mention, I had to do 2 coats of the primer because you want to make sure that it covers your shelf really well so that the paint has something to stick to. The door I just covered with painter's tape so that I wouldn't get the paint on the glass. Now I'll talk about this a little bit later because I did have to kind of do a little bit of a trick with that too. So here's kind of what it looks like with a brush applied, and you saw what it looked like with a roller, and I just kind of wanted you to see both so that way you could kind of determine for yourself how you wanted to go. But either way, like I said, it's just whatever you prefer. So once I painted all 3 cabinets and I used the wider 2 Billy bookcases and then the narrower one, I just didn't film myself painting all of these just because I didn't think you really needed to watch me paint. I just kind of did an up and down motion and I wasn't too worried about brush strokes because I was applying some wax at the end. So at the end, I applied the black wax, and the black wax just gives the piece just that rich, darker blue color. And I love this Annie Sloan black wax. It just such a great job with it. Doesn't distress it so much as it just gives it a different color. And whenever you apply the wax, if you've watched my other tutorials, you just kind of have to go side to side to side with a brush, and then you wipe it off with a rag. Now, when you are doing the side to side motions, you could do everything with a rag. I prefer using a brush. Now for the shelves, I wanted this to look a little bit different. So what I was kind of going for is for it to look like wood. So I originally thought I could use the glaze, the Rust-Oleum decorative glaze, you've seen me use this before, over top of the primed shelves, but it wasn't working, it wasn't sticking. So I went to my Annie Sloan chalk paint and I used the cocoa and I painted over top of it with the cocoa, and then I actually wound up using a gel stain to make that wood grain look, and I'll show you kind of what I did there. But the reason I went with the cocoa is because I wanted to have that contrast a little bit lighter at the bottom, like a lighter brown with a darker brown at the top. It depends whatever look you're going for. I found that this is kind of the look that I like the best. The reason I had mentioned that you should use chalk paint for if I were to do this again, I would use the primer with the chalk paint over top is just if you look at how beautifully it covered it and it didn't come off or anything like that, I just think the chalk paint would do a better job of covering than the other paint did. So to achieve the wood grain look, what I'm doing, again, I'm using the gel stain from Minwax. Originally, I was going to use my Rust-Oleum glaze, decorative glaze, but it didn't work the way I wanted it to work, so I'm using this gel stain. And I'm reapplying it to this board because my son had stepped on it, so I had to reapply it, but I realized that I would have to repaint it just when I was putting the gel stain on. It wasn't applying properly, so I'll show you on a fresh board what I did. So you just want to use a foam brush and use your wood grain tool. Now this one that I have came with several attachments, so I'm just using one of the attachments that I thought would look best on this one. You can use whichever one you want. And I just like to rock this back and forth. And then it's kind of like a trial and error depending on what you want it to look like. So at least with me, I kind of did a little bit and then I went back and I redid it and then I went over top and just kind of did it until I got the look that I was going for. Some people say that you only have to rock it once. I like to rock it a few times because I feel like it gives it kind of the illusion of naughty wood. And try not to do it in the same spot like whenever you rock, just because then it'll look like it's one beside the other, and that's not what you want. You want it to kind of look all scattered. Just wanted to give you a close-up of what the wood grain kind of looks like so you get an idea, and then what the painted shelf looks like. And I did go over all of this with some clear wax from Annie Sloan. Now, the middle shelves of these boards were attached already and I didn't want to take them off. So those ones I painted in a mixture of brown, espresso brown, and black acrylic paints, and then I painted. So there's a kit that you can buy at IKEA for the corner cabinet. So it's right there. And then you kind of put them here and you slide them on. And just at the top there, as you can see, I didn't paint the top of the cabinet, but at the top there are your anchors so that the cabinets don't topple over. And here's the corner where all of this will be going. I used to have just like a little table there, and I bought the corner hardware kit, and my husband had installed it, making sure that he anchored everything. So here's the shelf before we put the door on it. I wanted a glass door because I wanted to put little figurines and stuff over there, like some like travel memorabilia. Now, the only thing with the glass door was when I tried to paint it blue, because I ordered it white, when I painted it blue, the backs, like from the inside, the white showed. So if you are purchasing a glass door, purchase it dark, like purchase it black or even blue, and then paint it to your blue color on the outside, so that way the inside doesn't show. So what I did here is I actually just did on the inside, I painted a straight blue line to kind of get rid of that, but that's the only thing that kind of you could do without taking the glass out. So anyway, just be careful of that. But here it is. I love, 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 love how it turned out. It's all of our Disney stuff, pictures of the kids, pictures of family members that are no longer with us or even with us but don't live near us, and stuff from our travels. So I love it. Let me know what you think. I decided to repurpose an old cabinet that was actually left behind by the previous owners of our house. We thought we would throw it out. Then I thought maybe I could use it in my craft room. So then I wasn't able to use it in my craft room, so I thought I would throw it out. And then finally I found a home for it, and I'll show you what I did with it. So this was actually an entertainment, like an old, probably 1990s entertainment unit that had a top part to it. So because the top part was gone, we put this piece of wood, well actually I think it's particle board, for where the hole was for the top part. I apologize for the angle of this and for the lighting. It's right in front of the mirror. I had put it in my craft room, and because I'm redoing the craft room, there wasn't much room for me to actually record and do this properly, so I'm trying to do it the best I can, just to show you what it looks like before. So see, the lighting because of the window is a little bit off, but it's okay. So it had a little rolling shelf in the middle there that I took out, and we had originally taped some like shelf liner on top to cover this. Well, we didn't. My husband did. That was his solution to trying to make this look pretty. So anyway, I went ahead and I took that off. So that's what the marks are from. And I sanded it. I'm going to sand it down a little bit just so the paint holds better onto all of the surface, because it's not really wood. I'm not sure what material it is. It's extremely heavy, but I was afraid that if I don't sand it, the paint wouldn't stick. So I'm sanding it down a little bit, just with a piece of sandpaper. To me, it's probably one of the ugliest pieces of furniture that I own. I really wasn't sure if I would even keep it after I painted it, because it's just so ugly. But I had paint, so I didn't have to go out and buy paint. I had it. I had the piece, so I thought, well, let's see how it turns out, and if we don't like it, I will just throw it out. Actually, I probably wouldn't throw it out. I would probably donate it, but I would get rid of it from my house. So I did 2 coats of the Rust-Oleum chalk linen white on the top here. And you can see it after 1 coat, it didn't cover it fully, so I did another coat because I did want full coverage on this. So after I applied the second coat, I applied a coat of Annie Sloan clear wax to protect the wood. And I applied some clear wax just to protect the paint. The clear wax is an Annie Sloan clear wax. So we finally moved it out of the craft room and put it in the family room where I wanted to keep it. And I'm going to go ahead and apply the Serenity Blue from Rust-Oleum using my Annie Sloan brush. And so this is the technique that I used at the top too. Just basically going in all sorts of directions and applying it liberally. And like I said, I had sanded it down a little bit beforehand just so the paint would stick better. You can see the side I applied some paint there as well. I didn't want to move it before I painted the top because I wanted the top to be ready when we moved it back so we could put the TV on it and not keep the TV on the floor. So that's why I had to paint in the other room, and that's why the angle was a little bit weird. But anyway, here is a better angle of me painting this. I'll speed it up because I don't think you guys need to watch me paint the entire piece. So after I went ahead and I applied everything, here is what it looks like just with one coat. And I purposely didn't try to cover it completely because I've done that before where I try to, and then I just cake on the paint. So this way it's just one light coat, and then here it is with another coat all covered. Now the inside of those shells I will be painting white just to bring that white back. So and I was contemplating, because I still didn't like the way it looked, whether I should do black wax on top. I really didn't want to do it originally, but I wound up doing it, and I think it looks amazing. Then I also thought that in addition to the black wax, the piece also needed handles. So I just went to Home Depot and I got black handles. They were $17 for 5 handles. So they were pretty cheap. So I got the handles and my husband attached them. So here is what it looks like completed. So I absolutely love the way this turned out. I will not be getting rid of it. I think the black wax definitely added that extra that I was looking for, and the handles turned out amazing. I love, 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 love the way it turned out. So if you like how it turned out, make sure you hit that like button and let me know what you think in the comments below. I'm going to be basically redoing these 2 stools. Now these 2 stools came from my sister. They were my niece and nephews. They are both basically adults now, so these stools have been around for a long time. I actually bought these for Matthew and Emma when they were little, so it's nice that I'm getting them back to be able to use them with my kiddos. So that's what I'm doing today, is I'm going to be redoing them and painting them and making them suit my boys. So what I'm doing first is just cleaning them off. I'm just using a Lysol wipe just to get some of the, like, if there's any grease or anything like that on them, any dust. So I'm just wiping them off. And then I'm going to be just lightly sanding them off a little bit to get any gunk off if there's anything that's like sticky on them or something like that. And then I'll be painting them with some chalk paint. Now, I am using the Annie Sloan Cocoa, Annie Sloan chalk paint in cocoa, and I'm going to be doing a few coats of this. So the first coat, I'm just going to be lightly painting over the piece, and it's just so I can kind of have a base for the paint to adhere to. So I'm not too worried about full coverage at this point. It's just more or less just like a light coat of it, and then I'll do more coats as need be. I'm only going to be recording myself doing this. I don't think you need to see me doing multiple coats, because otherwise the video is going to be very, very long, and we don't want it to be that long. I'm just using a dollar store brush for this piece. And the reason for that is because I was already using this paint for another project, and I had the brush dirty in this color. So I'm just using this brush. Normally I like to use my Annie Sloan chalk paint brush, but I just didn't this time because I'm using that one for painting something white, so I just wanted to keep it white. Now I will be painting like underneath and on the sides of everything. So even though the way these stools will be positioned, they'll be going in the bathroom, like in my boys' bathroom, so they can have little stools for brushing their teeth and washing their faces and stuff like that. So you won't be able to see the back, but I will paint it anyway, just so it is all uniform. So what I did was I used my Cricut to cut out a stencil. So this is a reusable stencil film. I really don't like it for letters and signs, so I don't know. See, it's new, so I wanted to try it out, but I can already see it's going to be a little bit of an issue. And then the other chair, I'll bring it over. The other chair, I just used vinyl, and that one should be much better. So I'm gonna stencil in using my Rust-Oleum chalked charcoal paint and this little dabber from the Dollar Tree. So yeah, I'll have to kind of hold it down. So that's what I don't like. See, I already see that it's going through, so I'm not liking that, but hopefully it'll be okay. So after these dried, I had my husband help me, and we put paint on the feet of our sons, like at the bottom of their feet, and then we helped them step onto the stools so that their footprints would be on the stools. And I think that that is such a cute addition, and I think these stools are now adorable. So here they are. Like I said, I think they turned out adorably. After everything dried, I put clear wax over top of them, the clear Annie Sloan wax, and it was just for an added protection so that the chairs would be protected and the paint wouldn't come off. I think they're super cute, and here they are in their bathroom looking really, really nice. So if you like what you see, make sure you hit that big like button. If you'd like to see more, make sure you subscribe and hit that notification bell. Hi guys, so here is what I'm working on today. I'm super excited. This was what I found at the thrift store to be one of the ugliest items they had. It's very rusty. The inside is stinky. It totally needs to be redone, and I'm super excited to make it into something beautiful. So as you can see, like the top is in really rough shape. It's rusty. The metal parts are rusty, and like the bottom looks like it has paint on it. So I'm really excited to be working on this today for today's video. So I cleaned off the chest just with some soap and water on the outside, and I'm going to start off by painting it. I am using the Rust-Oleum Country Gray to paint the chest, and I will have to do 2 coats of this paint because um, just the blue still would come through. So I taped off some of the wood parts. I was going to tape off the metal parts as well, but then I decided not to. Then I decided I was going to go a different way. So as with any of the paint, when you're painting any pieces with chalk paint, you want to make sure you're going in all sorts of directions, and you're doing lighter coats so you're not caking on the paint. You don't have to sand anything down, and you don't have to do really any prep work other than just cleaning it up. So it's super easy to work with chalk paint, and the results are just amazing. So once this dries, I'm going to go ahead and apply the Annie Sloan black wax. And the reason I'm applying it without putting clear wax first is I want a really dramatic effect. And I also want to stain this wood as well. So when you're applying the wax, it's the same idea as with the paint. You want to make sure that you're going in all sorts of directions, not just in one, and then you apply it and wipe it off, and apply it and wipe it off, depending on how much you want to stay there, like how much of a stain you want. So unfortunately, I didn't record this, but after I applied the black wax, I thought it was a little bit too black. So I applied the Annie Sloan dark wax as well, which I thought I might do because I always like the combination of the two waxes together. So that's what you'll see at the end result of the video. I have a little bit of the recording, but my camera shut off and I didn't notice, so I apologize. After I apply the waxes, I go ahead and I apply Duck Egg Blue from Annie Sloan. And I'm just doing it on the metal parts, as you can see here. I've already done a little bit at the top. And then I go ahead and I put this gilding copper, so liquid gilding copper from Martha Stewart. It's from Michaels. And I put it over top. So what I'm trying to achieve is kind of like the aged copper, kind of copper that's tarnishing a little bit. That's what I'm trying to achieve. I really love that look. So if you've watched any of my metal painting videos or anything like that, I like to always have that in there. I'll link like my spoons up top so you can see what I'm talking, my spoon and fork up top the video, so you can see what I'm talking about if you wanted to check it out. With the liquid copper, you just want to be careful that you dab, like you dip it in a little bit and then you dab off on like a piece of paper or something, so that you don't have too much on. Otherwise it'll be pretty dark, unless that's a look what you're going for. But what I did was I dabbed off a little bit so that I could just have a light coating going over top of the copper. So to achieve the look I wanted, I just kept on applying and reapplying the gilding copper and the duck egg blue. So I got rained out and I had to bring the trunk inside, but then I brought it outside just to make sure that I got all of the colors that I wanted. I just wanted it in natural light because the basement tends to get a little bit dark. So here's the finished piece. I'm so happy with the way it turned out. I love the stain of the wood. I love how the copper came out. I love everything about this. It'll be used as a coffee table in my family room downstairs in the basement, and it'll look wonderful. And inside I'll store blankets, and I'm so happy with them. I'm incredibly excited that I found it, and it was so cheap that I couldn't not get it even though it was so ugly. So I think I nailed it. I think I made it beautiful again. Let me know what you guys think. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed these furniture makeovers. Leave me a comment below. Let me know what you thought and let me know which one's your favorite. Thank you so much for watching. Have a great day and stay safe.